And let's take you now to the White House, where Donald Trump is speaking to the media.
Just launched the Trump Gold Card. That goes up, and all funds go to the United States government. Could be a tremendous amount of money. It'll also be able to have people like this keep, as an example, just one example. There are a lot of examples, people just buying them. It's somewhat like a green card, but with big advantages over a green card. And companies are going to be able to go to the Wharton School of Finance, the Stern Business School, Harvard, MIT, wherever you may get your students, any school, and you're able to buy a card and keep that person in the United States, actually, so there's certainty, because I've heard from Tim Cook of Apple, and I've heard from a lot of people, some of the people at this table, that essentially in the United States, you can't keep the student. You can't hire people from the best colleges because you don't know whether or not you can keep the person. They come and have the people get out. They throw the person out of the country. You graduate #1 from your college, and there's no way of guaranteeing, I guess you could say, there's no way of guaranteeing that they're able to stay in the country. Howard, maybe you'll give a little description of the Trump Gold Card, please.
Sure. So for an individual, it's $1 million, and for a corporation, it's $2 million. And as the president said, for a corporation, they spend $2 million. They can then have an employee, full vetting, the best vetting the government has ever done, $15,000 vetting to make sure these people absolutely qualify to be in America, absolutely qualify. And then the company can keep them here, and they have a path to citizenship, right? Obviously, they have to be perfect people in America, and having passed the vetting, after 5 years, they'll be available to become citizens, and then the corporation can put someone else on the card. So for a company, they can keep putting people on the card, one person per card, and for an individual, it's $1 million, and it's a gift to the United States of America to help America be great again under Donald Trump.
And it's really two gifts. It's a gift of getting somebody great coming into our country, because we think these will be some tremendous people that wouldn't be allowed to stay. You know, they graduate from college, they have to go back to India, they have to go back to China, they have to go back to France, they have to go back to wherever they came from. Very hard to stay. It's a shame. It's ridiculous things. We're taking care of that. The companies are going to be very happy. I know Apple's going to be happy, but a lot of the companies, nobody talked to me more about it than Tim Cook. He said it's a real problem, and it's not going to be a problem anymore. As you know, they used to send people up to Canada and other places, other countries, so we solved that. And the other thing is it'll take in, we think, probably billions of dollars that will go to the Treasury of the United States, that will go to an account where we can do things positive for the country. So it'll be a great thing. We'll take in, I think, billions of dollars. Many billions of dollars, even. So that's very exciting. The Trump accounts are doing really well. We have a man on my right, Michael Dell, who's an extraordinary person. His wife is even more extraordinary. I think I can say that. They have such a good relationship, she's an extraordinary person, right? Got a great wife. But they're two great people, and as you know, last week, Michael contributed $6,250 million. And this is just something that's so special. So many people are in love with it. He understood it right from the beginning. It was his idea, and he understood it right from the beginning. Could you give maybe just a little description of why you loved it for such a long period of time? And we were able to get it through the great, big, beautiful bill, basically. That's how, what gave us the authorization to do it. Michael, please.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. So, when we first heard about this idea, the idea was that the government would give $1,000 to a newborn baby in an account that they would own, and it would go in essentially the S&P 500 and compound. And when the child becomes 18, they could use that money to go to college, to buy a home, to start a business, to continue saving. And And I thought that was a great idea. I thought it'd be great if companies matched the government's contribution, which we're doing. A lot of the companies around the table have committed to doing that. And also thought about this is, wow, this is going to be like a platform for families and communities and philanthropists to contribute to those accounts. And so we originally started with the idea of, well, what if we gave some money to all the kids in our home state of Texas, right? We thought that would be a nice thing to do.
That's still a lot.
Yeah, it is. 1 out of 10 new kids in America are born in Texas.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Happen to be a fan of the state of Texas. But anyway, we thought about it some more, and we thought, you know, this is going to be something really special. We have a foundation. It focuses on children. It's been around for 26 years. And we said, well, why don't we go bigger? And so we talked about it. And
That's Donald Trump there at a round table at the White House. He's talking to Michael Dell from Dell Computers. They're actually talking about the idea of a child savings account. But before that, they were talking about the Trump Gold Card. Individuals can pay $1 million to stay in the United States and work, and businesses can sponsor people at the cost of $2 million. Now, staying with the economy, the US Federal Reserve has cut interest rates by 25 basis points to its lowest level in about 3 years. But there's still uncertainty about the economic outlook. The decision brings the new range the new rate to a range of 3.5 to 3.75%. And the central bank had been under growing pressure from US President Trump to cut rates more quickly. Trump has said multiple times he wants to replace its chairman, Jerome Powell, adding even more friction to their relationship. And let's cross to the Federal Reserve headquarters in Washington, D.C., where Shihab Rattansi is live for us. Jerome Powell's been speaking. Donald Trump's been speaking. He hasn't talked about the Fed yet, but I'm sure he will. But what has Jerome Powell been talking about?
Well, he's giving us more of an understanding of why they decided to cut. There's always that tension between reducing interest rates and therefore making inflation higher, or cutting interest rates and therefore trying to spur job growth. And Jerome Powell says, as they were trying to make that decision, for now at least, they've decided that it's more urgent to concentrate on job growth than worry about further inflation.
My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. Although important federal government data for the past couple of months have yet to be released, available public and private sector data suggests that the outlook for employment and inflation has not changed as much since our meeting in October. Conditions in the labor market appear to be gradually cooling, and inflation remains somewhat elevated.
Now, Jerome Powell, the man you just saw there, and Donald Trump have history. But what's the expectation she have for next year? His position is coming to an end, as I understand it.
Yeah, he's leaving his position in May. Donald Trump is no longer threatening to replace him before that because for fear of enormous market turmoil on Wall Street, and that's something Trump never likes. But Trump has said that he wants the next Fed chair to insist on much larger interest rate cuts so as to boost the economy, especially in a midterm election year. However, what he's hearing today won't be pleasing to Donald Trump, because what the Fed position is, and remember, it's not just the Fed chair who makes this decision. At any given month, it's 12 members of a committee that make the decision. At the moment, the consensus we're getting from the committee is that this might be the last cut for some time. They're going to be in a wait-and-see approach in the coming months to see if further cuts are necessary. So that's not something that Donald Trump's going to be happy about, and we can expect, I'm sure, some more invective heading Jerome Powell's way, even though it's not just solely his decision.
Shihab Rattansi there. Thanks for unpacking all of that.